Welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to attend this session. This session, we're going to talk about the road ahead, changes in SharePoint 2013. They say that the only constant is change and that change is here to stay. Here in IT, we deal with constant change on a daily basis. This change includes SharePoint. Looking back, we've come a long way since 2003 when the first portal was launched. It's been quite the ride to get where we are today. It seems like only yesterday we took the exit for SharePoint 2010. But where we want to be isn't where we are today, and we need to take the exit for the future. Support for SharePoint 2010 has ended. If we aren't driving forward, then we aren't changing, and we certainly aren't embracing change. By doing so, we'll reach a dead end. The only way to continue to innovate, compete, and to be successful is if we change, and this is a good thing. So we will take the exit to SharePoint 2013 and we'll discover the road ahead. Well, the road ahead includes upgrading to SharePoint 2013. We've also updated the look and feel of the corporate portal to match the corporate internet site at www.lcbo.com. This new branding includes updated fonts, graphics, and page layouts. This new look is much cleaner and more efficient than the previous version. The next slides detail how SharePoint 2013 differs from SharePoint 2010 so that you can be prepared for what's down the road. Many areas have changed from SharePoint 2013. Portal corporate homepage has changed, the divisional homepage has changed, the departmental homepages have changed, team sites have changed. This includes lists, libraries, and apps. There are some features that are no longer available in SharePoint 2010 that were in SharePoint 20. These features have been deprecated. And we'll also talk about some great new features in SharePoint 2013. This is the existing portal corporate homepage in SharePoint 2010. You can see that we have the green navigation bar at the top with the icons for each of the divisions. But this is what the new portal corporate homepage looks like in SharePoint 2013. We've updated the look and feel to match the corporate internet site. This new branding includes updated fonts, graphics, and page layouts. Gone is the top navigation bar in green. There's no icons, it's only text now. The new look is much cleaner and less cluttered, and it's much more efficient than the previous version. The Site Actions menu now is over here on the right-hand side at the top beside your username. So you can see it's moved over here. It used to be over here on the left-hand side, now it's over here on the right. This very top menu contains Newsfeed, which is content that you're following in SharePoint, OneDrive, which is access to your files and documents in your My Site, and Sites. This is quick access to SharePoint sites that you're a member of. There are also three new options here. First one is Share, where you can give people access to your site. Follow, where you can follow this site and get easily back to your sites page. And then the last one is Focus on Content. This is the existing divisional homepage that was in SharePoint 2010. This is the new divisional homepage in SharePoint 2013. Again, the Site Actions menu has moved to the top right-hand side and is accessed using this gear icon. Again, at the top here we have Newsfeed, which is content that you're following in SharePoint, OneDrive, which is access to your files and documents in My Site, and Sites, which is quick access to SharePoint sites that you're a member of. So to access the Site Actions menu, you just simply click on the gear. Once you click on the gear, this is the actual Site Actions menu that appears. The options here are Show the Ribbon, Shared With, Edit Page, Add an App, Site Contents, Design Manager, and Site Settings. Again, there's also three new options here on the top right-hand side. Share, which gives people access to the site. Follow, which means you can follow this site and get easily back to your sites page. And this last one here is Focus on Content. This view displays only the site settings without any navigation. Click on it once to show this view, and then click on it again to return back to the original view. This was the existing corporate uh, departmental homepage in SharePoint 2010. But this is what the departmental homepage now looks like in SharePoint 2013. Again, the Site Actions menu has moved over here on the right-hand side. Clicking the gear brings up the Site Actions menu, which gives you the options to shared with, add a page, add an app, site contents, design manager, and site settings. When you click on View All Site Content in SharePoint 2010, this was the page that you would see. You would see a listing of all the document libraries in your site, all the lists, any discussion boards, any surveys, and any sites and workspaces. But here's what the View All Site Content page now looks like in SharePoint 2013. The page is radically different. It's more icon driven and it has a much cleaner interface. And again, the Site Actions menu is located on the right-hand side at the top, right beside your username. To access the Site Actions menu, you just simply click on the gear. This is what a team site looked like in SharePoint 2010. If you've had a team site before, you can remember what this looks like. But this is what the new team site looks like in SharePoint 2013. It's much different. Again, it's more icon driven and has a much cleaner interface. The menu items again are highlighted here in the red box are Newsfeed, SkyDrive, and Sites. So again, Newsfeed gives you content that you are following in SharePoint. SkyDrive is my site personal content. So this would be your files, your documents, etc. And then sites. So these are SharePoint sites that you're a member of. Again, to click on the site, to click on the Site Actions menu, just click on the gear. Clicking on the gear brings up the Site Actions menu here. Again, shared with. If you want to add a page, if you want to add an app, you want to view all site contents in your site, you want to go into Design Manager, or if you want to go into Site Settings. Team site changes in SharePoint 2013, and there are quite a few. The first one is there's a totally new look and feel. The new look of the team site is obvious from the start. Gone is the stock photograph of the three happy business people looking at a laptop. The new visual flair is very clean and touch-friendly. It's square and it's interactive. However, beyond the glossy new finish and features, you may notice the removal of a few items on the left-hand menu and it's a little more functional in nature. Removable of calendar, task discussion, and announcement and links lists. The old Team Sites template left-hand navigation, which was also known as the Quick Launch, had 10 links in it compared to the new template's 3. One link was added in 2013, Home. 3 of the 8 removed links were really only headers. Site pages and the recycle bin have now been moved under Site Contents. The 2013 Team Site template no longer includes a calendar, task list, or discussion board by default. Not shown in the quick launch, the announcement and links lists that were created in SharePoint 2010 and previous Team Site templates are also missing from the 2013 version. These apps, formerly known as lists, were part of the clutter removed from the Team Site overhaul. There are some exciting new apps and removes lists in SharePoint 2013. Most of the choices available in SharePoint 2010 are available again in 2013. However, there are some notable departures and additions. Again, these are very subtle changes that may throw off the experienced SharePoint user who was expecting things to be in the same place, where they may not be now. The slide library, project tasks, and status lists have been removed in SharePoint 2013. The Promoted Links app is a way that you can create a visual element on your page like the Team Site template has by default at its top. Whenever a new team site is created, the Promoted Links app is shown at the top. This is a view of the lists libraries in a SharePoint 2013 site. One important note is lists and document libraries are now called apps. The list and document libraries remain. The look and feel has slightly changed, but they're still the same. If you want to add a new list or a new document library, you simply click on Add an App instead of the old way of creating it through the Site Contents page. Here's a listing of all the 2013 apps. Any new apps at the top are listed as noteworthy. For example, and here on this particular site, document library, the custom list, and tasks are noteworthy. Below is a listing of all the apps that you can add in SharePoint. They include document library, form library, wiki page library, picture library, links, announcements, contacts, calendar, promoted links, discussion board, tasks, issue tracking, custom list in a datasheet view, an external list, a survey, which is done using Microsoft Excel now, asset library, import spreadsheet. And also there's the custom lists that we have, which is the alerts list, the featured item list, the feature rotator list, and the points of interest. Features that are deprecated in SharePoint 2013. Deprecated means of little worth or of no longer value. There are several functions in SharePoint 2010 that are no longer available in SharePoint 2013. They have been deprecated. The first one is the meeting workspace. The meeting workspace site template is not available. This includes the basic meeting workspace, the blank meeting workspace, the decision meeting workspace, the social meeting workspace, and the multi-page meeting workspace. Any existing meeting or document workspaces that you had in SharePoint 2010 were automatically migrated into SharePoint 2013. You just won't be able to create any net new meeting or document workspaces in your sites. SharePoint 2013 and Office 2013 provide features that support meetings and collaboration. For example, you can use Lync to conduct live meetings, OneNote to take notes during these meetings, and a SharePoint team site or a My Site to store shared meeting notes. Document workspaces. The document workspace site template is not available. The reason for removing this feature is that the scenario of collaborating on a document is now provided by the team site template. PowerPoint slide broadcast has been taken out too. Hosting and broadcasting PowerPoint presentations can be done more efficiently using other applications. PowerPoint will continue to support broadcast against the Office broadcast surface. One note, if you did have a PowerPoint slide library in SharePoint 2010, that is automatically brought over into SharePoint 2013. Slide libraries. So this is a design limitation in SharePoint 2013. Users are still able to insert slides from PowerPoint files. So again, any existing slide libraries will be migrated into SharePoint 2013. You just won't be able to create any net new ones. You will still be able to get to them with a direct URL. The group work site template has also been removed from SharePoint 2013. This group worksite template provided a groupware solution that teams use to create, organize, and share information. But Microsoft did a study and they found that this site template was not widely used, and so they took it out in SharePoint 2013. The chart web part. Similar features can be used with other applications such as Excel services. If you did use the chart web part in SharePoint 2010, you can still continue to use it in SharePoint 2013. But if you didn't use it, you can use other SharePoint functionality such as Excel services to display a chart in your SharePoint site. And the last thing that's been taken out is the SharePoint status indicators and status lists. Similar features can be used with other applications such as Excel services. If you used the SharePoint status indicators in SharePoint Server 2010, you can continue to use them in SharePoint 2013. But if you didn't use them, you can use other SharePoint functionality such as Excel services to create things like key performance indicators. Based on our past training and feedback during those sessions, the content managers and team sites owners didn't really use much of this functionality extensively. Many of our clients really aren't using SharePoint 2010 to its full potential, so it's a good opportunity to really get back to basics and reintroduce the platform with SharePoint 2013. Well, now that we've learned about some features that have been taken out of SharePoint 2013, let's have a look at some great new features that are in SharePoint 2013. There are 4 areas that are either new or have been upgraded. These areas are social, collaboration, site templates, and business intelligence. Social. Mention is a great new function in SharePoint 2013. Mention is where you can easily reference other users in your posts or replies simply by typing the @ symbol before their name. Mention users will see the post in their newsfeed and will be notified based on their configured alerts in SharePoint. Hashtag is a way of tagging a conversation post or reply with an appropriate keyword using the hashtag symbol right before the word. Following, now you can subscribe or follow people, documents, sites, and tags, and stay connected with these objects as changes are being made to them throughout SharePoint. Like, this is a way to show that you agree with or appreciate what another user has posted or replied to in a conversation. Community sites and portals. This is a brand new function in SharePoint 2013. It's a new site template. This template focuses on what's called the forum experience to the end user with gamification to increase participation. Badges and points can be earned by posting and answering questions as well as participating in the forum. The community portal site is another site template that displays an aggregation of all the community sites underneath it. You're asking, what is gamification? Well, gamification is the concept of applying game mechanics and game design techniques to engage and motivate people to achieve their goals. Gamification taps into the basic desires and needs of user impulses, which revolve around the idea of status and achievement. World-class companies have introduced gamification imperatives and have measured the following improvements on different user behavior levels. Some companies have seen a 500% increase in user comments and activity. Some companies have seen a 140% increase on the actual time on the site. 60% have experienced an increase in employee engagement, and 250% of companies have experienced a growth in training compliance. The last thing here is post pictures and links. This will provide you with the functionality to post hyperlinks to content or pictures directly into your newsfeed. Some other new social features, My Site's new name. So My Site has now been changed to OneDrive. The new hyperlink is located on the suite bar and is called OneDrive or SkyDrive. Sites that I am following. This is a new hyperlink in the suite bar at the top that shows a link called Sites. If the user clicks on Sites, they see a listing of all the sites that they are following. This is a great way for each user to build their own site portal. Privacy settings. Privacy settings have been greatly improved to allow each end user to set more granular security options. People settings auto-follow. There is now an option in SharePoint that allows end users to automatically follow members of their immediate team. And also people settings, people recommendation. SharePoint can recommend people based upon your SharePoint usage and social environment. If you've been a user of Facebook and you follow somebody or like something, Facebook comes back and makes recommendations for you. Well, this is kind of the same thing in SharePoint. SharePoint will look at to see who you're currently following or what you've been posting or liking, and make recommendations of what you might like to see as well. Collaboration. This is the next main section of improvements or new functionality in SharePoint 2013. First item here is a site mailbox. Each team site can now have its own site mailbox, which will have its own email address. This provides the site with the ability to send as well as receive email and collaborate on team documents. Surveys. Surveys can now be created using the Excel web app. This allows end users to create a much more powerful survey and then collect the results afterwards using an Excel spreadsheet. Task lists. Task lists in SharePoint now support a timeline view, much like you would see in a project management application like Microsoft Project. Promoted links is a great new way to show hyperlinks using an animated tile view with images. This is usually done on the home page when you create a new team site. Print to PDF. Using the document preview in the hover panel, end users can now click on the icon of the preview and print the document straight to a PDF without having to open the application and do the conversion. Find a file uses a quick search from within a document library to quickly find a file within it. And discussion lists now supports mentions and hashtags with the thread and provides a much better experience for users who are participating in a threaded discussion. While we're talking about collaboration, the next item that has been added in SharePoint 2013 is drag and drop. This is huge functionality. Documents can now be easily moved or uploaded into SharePoint document libraries simply by dragging and dropping the files there. Note, when you do this, metadata is not entered when documents are added to a document library using drag and drop. You will have to go back and add that metadata later. Sharing. SharePoint 2013 introduces new terminology for assigning permissions to SharePoint objects. Clicking on Share will allow end users to grant permissions themselves to the object selected or to another end user or group. Site Notebook using OneNote. Integration with Office OneNote and Office Web Apps allows SharePoint 2013 Team Site its own notebook. Permissions are inherited by the team site and is always the property of that site itself so that the notebook never gets lost. OneNote is a great application that's part of the Microsoft Office suite. And now that we've migrated to SharePoint 2013, I think a lot of users will be using it much more. Quick Edit. This is a new and improved version of the Edit and Datasheet view that now allows end users to create columns from it. The primary purpose of Quick Edit is to allow the user to bulk edit most of the properties of a list item or document. This is when you want to make many changes to a list or document library at one time without having to open each record individually and make the changes. Office Web Apps is a brand new functionality in SharePoint 2013. It allows end users to open and edit Office documents directly on the web using any of the popular browsers without any plugins or without having Microsoft Office installed on their device or computer. This is great for mobile users with iOS or Android devices that do not have Microsoft Office installed. Co-authoring of documents. This is a great new functionality that allows end users to open and edit Office documents at the same time as other users. Two or more users will now be able to work on the same document at the same time. This is called co-authoring. Before, we used to have to, only one user would be able to open a document up, check it out, make changes to it, save it, check it back in. Well, now SharePoint 2013 allows multiple people to work on the same document at the same time. SharePoint will keep track of all the changes that are being made. Hover panel. The new callout menu for list items and documents in SharePoint. The hover panel shows additional information quickly without the user having to navigate deeper into the properties of the item. This can be used in conjunction with Office Web Apps to provide document previews. And we'll see a screenshot of the hover panel in the next slide. So this is a SharePoint team site with a document library on it with the hover panel. So first thing I want to talk about is Office Web Apps. So Office Web Apps is a server in SharePoint that provides browser-based file viewing and editing services for all Office files. Users can view and in some cases edit Office documents in SharePoint libraries using a supported web browser on computers and on many mobile devices such as Windows phones, iPhones, iPads, and Windows 8 tablets. Among the many new features in Office Web Apps, improved touch support and editing capabilities enable users of iPads and Windows 8 tablets to enjoy editing and viewing Office documents directly from their devices. It's important to note that Office Web Apps works in many browsers. It'll work in Internet Explorer, in Safari, in Chrome, and in Firefox. Office Web Apps supports all four browsers. Next thing I want to touch on here is co-authoring. I briefly mentioned it in the previous slide. So the co-authoring feature in SharePoint 2013 enables multiple users to work on a document at any time without interfering in each other's changes. Co-authoring removes the barriers to server-based document collaboration and helps organizations to reduce the overhead associated with traditional document sharing through attachment. This functionality requires no additional server setup and is the default state for documents stored in SharePoint 2013. Co-authoring in SharePoint 2013 addresses these issues by making it possible for multiple users to work on a document at any time without interfering with each other's changes. This approach streamlines many common document collaboration scenarios, and I'll give you a couple of examples. This first one is where two or more authors are working on different parts of the same Microsoft Word document. While one author works on his section of the document, another author can work on hers without either interrupting the other's work. Or there are several people working together on a PowerPoint slide show or presentation. Each author can add slides to the presentation and make changes to them and edit them. Instead of working in isolation and trying to merge several documents and make them consistent at all times, users can make changes to the same presentations just on different slides. The only caveat here is you can't make edits to the same slide at the same time. The third example here is you want to send out a document to several experts and stakeholders, each of whom can provide edits or additions. No user edits are lost because they're working on the same central server stored document. The last thing I want to talk about here is the hover panel, and here's a great view of the hover panel. When a user wants to learn more about a file in a document library, they can hover their cursor over that document to see what the result is in the hover panel dialog box. The hover panel contains rich metadata that enables users to investigate the result more thoroughly without having to click through and load the document. It allows users to scroll through slides in a PowerPoint presentation without opening the actual file, look through pages in a Word document without opening the actual document, or look through tabs and sheets in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet without opening the actual file in Microsoft Excel. Users can choose to open the file in Office web apps, so Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and they can even print a PDF copy of the file, as I had mentioned earlier on in this session. Using the document preview in the hover panel, end users can now click on the icon on the preview and print the document straight to PDF. This is great new functionality that was introduced in SharePoint 2013, and we see this being a definite boon to our end users. While we're talking about Office web apps, let's look at some of the client features here. Change tracking. This enables users to open Word files that contain revision marks in the Word web app. Comments. Users can now view, add, or reply to comments directly within the Word web app and the PowerPoint web app. Embedding. There is now support for embedding web apps and websites for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Ink support enables users using the Word web app and the OneNote web app files that contain ink. So if you have a tablet that supports ink, so where you actually do writing with your hand and the stylus, the Word and the OneNote web app support that functionality. Quick Preview displays a preview of the item content when the user rests over a search result in SharePoint. And Share by Link allows users to send a link to a document to another user and allow the recipient to use Office web apps to view the document. Site templates has changed in SharePoint 2013 now. There are 4 new different types of templates that have been added. The first one is a project site. This is similar to a team site, but it has more of a focus on task management for a specific project. It brings all the tasks together and artifacts related to that project in one place, including documents and calendars. A community site is a new site template that empowers end users to start or participate in discussions or questions. It also includes a points-based reputation systems and badges. It's often compared to what's called a forum site. A community portal is a site collection template that aggregates all the community sites across SharePoint in one place. Using search, it will show only the community sites using the search service application. The product catalog allows users to turn lists into catalogs and make them available as a result source for the search engine. It helps easily integrate the content in publishing sites. The last topic we're going to touch on here in terms of new functionality is business intelligence. First item here is Power View. End users can now create pie charts, maps, KPIs, and other types of charts with drill downs using this add-in for Microsoft Excel. They can then publish them to SharePoint. This is very easy to do for experienced Microsoft Excel users like we have in supply chain. Power Queries is a Microsoft Excel add-in that allows end users the ability to easily import data from a variety of sources. Power Map is an Excel add-in that allows end users the ability to plot data points from different sources in different styles of maps, including Bing Maps. Visio Services allows SharePoint to render Visio diagrams in the browser without the need for Microsoft Visio. It lets end users view the diagram. Basic exploration and navigation is supported along with the refreshing or recalculating the data from within its data source. And Excel Services is a shared service that allows end users to publish Excel workbooks to SharePoint. End users publish specific content in a web browser while maintaining specific data connections. This is great for publishing only the chart in an Excel workbook, for example, but this should not be confused with the Microsoft Excel web app. So let's have a quick review of what we were talking about and the major changes with SharePoint 2013. The portal corporate homepage has changed. There's a whole new look and feel to it. The portal divisional pages have changed. So has the portal departmental pages. They have changed as well. There's some major team site changes. This includes lists and libraries. Lists and libraries are now called apps in SharePoint 2013. We talked about features that are deprecated in SharePoint 2013. So these are features that were in SharePoint 2010 but are no longer available in SharePoint 2013. And finally, we talked about new features in SharePoint 2013. Thank you for your participation. We'd like to mention that in the near future, we'll be offering updated sessions for content managers and team site owners. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the web services team, and we would be happy to answer them. We hope that you will join us on the journey on the road ahead with SharePoint 2013. Thank you for your time and your participation.